Okay, normally I find it very difficult to make a video during the weekend, but I found a little window, and what a crazy Friday it was. I always say it's crazy every day, but obviously Friday was completely historic, right? What happened to gold and especially silver? I think the likelihood of that kind of a move, especially in silver, was, I forgot, someone described it like 20 zeros at the end of the number, absolutely impossible unless it's obviously it was manipulated. Let's just look at it technically before we overanalyze it, which I won't do anyway. Gold, first of all, we had on that Thursday a nice little, well, I don't even know what you call this. This is a sideways huge candle, right? Look at Thursday. We went all the way to 5,600, right? When the market closed and China woke up. Then we had a massive drop, almost all the way down to 5,000. Basically, in the end, we closed a little bit down, right? Unchanged, holding sort of 5,400. And the next day, and I woke up late because I think I went out on Thursday. I had a long night, and I woke up. I see all these messages. Jesus, we weren't even that down. We were like in, especially in silver. Anyway, gold crashed down. Let's look at it. Almost went and filled this gap, which is this is a complete buy zone, right? 4,600 and whatever is a complete buy. And we hit 4,600 something. We went below 4,700. But it's all about the close, right? I always look at the daily chart. That's the best one. All right. When I'm sort of trading or I'm about to make an entry or an exit, I like the 3 minute. I like the 15 minutes sometimes. Otherwise, daily, weekly, monthly, but daily. By far the best daily. And for this kind of a long-term move, daily still. For me, support is the gap fill. I don't think we're going to revisit this area, all right? So we pretty much hit 4,700. That seems to be the low. We closed within the ascending. It's in the steep ascending, right? Zoom out. Look at that. That is a very steep ascending. And we closed well within it. So for me, that is the support. If we go down, we can. All right, if we go down again Monday, I think we go up Monday. The Chinese are just going to buy the hell out of this paper smash. But that's your level, right? For gold, it's going to be the low of day. And I don't think we go there. I think if we go down, we're sort of the general ascending support here is going to be a support, and we're just going to curl and go back up. I just don't know how fast or how steep the move back up is. I think there'll be a strong bounce. So I guess the question is, where's resistance? Well, maybe 5,100 actually. I don't think we're gonna go that high as 5,400. I don't know. This needs to be given a couple of days, even though I think the bounce is going to be violent. Well, I think within 1 month we're at new highs in gold, silver, and the miners. And by the way, I think the miners are going to lead the way. That was the one positive out of yesterday, so Friday, that being the miners outperformed. I mean, they're underperforming on the way up. They might as well outperform on the way down, which doesn't make sense. Usually it's the opposite. So for me, gold, keep it simple, give it a couple of days. But generally, I like this ascending. I like the basic horizontals, low of day, the gap fill. This one was an old one. And then you got this ascending in case that I'm wrong and we start to drop again and it just becomes ridiculous. Then this ascending becomes support. I can get rid of a lot of these lines though, but I mean, this ascending here is going to be your main one. That's it, basically. And this one's kind of gone too, actually, because it has been breached. I'll just cheat and just do that. But that's basically what I'm looking at on the way down. On the way up, I don't think it matters yet. Up, obviously the highs of Friday count and all that, but it's not going to be that strong, the bounce. But 5,400 should be your resistance, right? You can see how many times on a daily did we close and open around there. So if you really want all the lines, that's it. Keep it simple, give it a couple of days, and just focus on the miners. To be honest, this is total opportunity in the miners. Silver. Now, this one, very, very credible ascending, right? Look how many times we touch it, like 10 times or something. Now, this is not even a technical thing, right? When you have a massive smash and it's organized and all this, it's not going to bounce on perfect technical lines. Now, I thought, where was it? I remember thinking 91. Yeah, that's it. I was watching this area. Next thing I know, we've taken that out. And I had this area. I took that out. And then I had this was an old line, I think. And then as we started to go down into the 70s, I was like, look at, this area here. How many times this was a strong area of support. So I was watching that. I mean, ultimately, eventually I'll get it right. I was watching each one. So what happened? We ended up testing mid 70s, 74. But I don't even see any support there. So proves that technicals don't always work. or I had the wrong one. But we bounced nicely. I mean, at least we didn't close at low of day. And we pretty much closed on the ascending. I'll just cheat and just go like that. Now we're there. So I'm not sure. Like, this is obviously now your real support, right? I don't think we go down there Monday. In fact, Monday again, I really expect it to be an up day. I think it was a one-off crazy thing. I mean, even the RSI got reset. I read from like 90 to 50. I'm not going to bring it up, but this on the daily, I'm going to keep, but I don't pay too much attention to the ascending. Same with gold. Just keep it simple. Low of day is this. I don't think we go there. This, well, that's just been negated. Okay, I think it's time to remove them and stop sort of pretending that that they count. I think it's just gonna do what it's gonna do. I have no idea what resistance obviously is all the way up here, but like gold, right? The sort of daily open and close, then the absolute high. Forget this, we're not gonna visit that for a while, but that's all I'll do for now and give it another day. You'll have probably a candle that, like it opens, it goes up, and then during Western hours, it comes back down. And you might get a candle like that, which is like a nothing candle. It's just a bounce candle. Maybe you did a couple of trades, whatever, and then you end up sort of removing the ascending, like that's completely gone. And then you just let it form its little pattern, and now you can build your new technicals. That's probably what I'm gonna end up trying to do. But I still think within a month, it will, a bit like this, staircase back up, and then boom, right? We've had these drops before. You can't even see them anymore, but when was it? You have a big smash, and what happens? We build, okay, and boom, and then down, and then boom. You know what I mean? Cup and handle, see you later, and you can't even see it anymore. There's a lot of these. Gold's had something like that, no? Same thing here. Bam, look at that. It's all over. See you at, what was it? The VWAPs and all these different technical indicators came out and everyone's talking about gap fills and all this. No, just fundamentally nothing's changed. What happened here? Did anything fundamental happen that day? Did anyone take massive delivery? Were we able to mine a huge amount of silver from an asteroid and bring it back down with an escalator? Did we do deep sea silver mining? Was that some sort of metallurgy alchemist invention? No, nothing. It was just some paper trash happening somewhere, and the Chinese will build it back up. So gold and silver, keep it simple, clean it up, give it some time, but the thesis has not changed anything. It was a massive, massive opportunity in the miners. By the way, so on Thursday, yeah, now we're talking about miners because that's what I buy really. Although on Friday I did buy some gold. I did buy some gold just under 5,000, which is kind of where we close, no? At the end of the day, yeah, 4,950, same thing as 5,000. The whole day was kind of pinned around 5,000 gold, while silver really went down a couple of levels. Okay, to the miners. Now, this closed near low of day, fair enough, right? Unlike the metals, it didn't bounce as much, but we didn't go down as much. Like 12% drop in GDX. Remember, silver was down. Jesus, how much was it down? Oh yeah, almost 30%. So, you know what I mean? You're allowed to close near low of day when you're down that little relative to the metal. We did close the gap. I was looking at it here when silver was at 90, thinking, can we really keep going down and close the gap? Yes, we did. Good. Might as well do it all in one day, right? If you're gonna go out and have a crazy night, just you know, do it all in one day. Can we keep going down? Oh, I don't think so. I don't mind if we do, because we still haven't tested this ascending. Now, for me, the ascending support counts more for the miners than it does the metals. It's more credible and less likely to be breached. And this is not much of a drop, right? From where we are closing there, 3-4% is not much. But then that would mean the metals are red. They could be red on Monday. China buys ferociously overnight, and then by the time the West opens, they start doing their last selling. Market opens red, the miners just do some 4% thing, and then basically, as soon as the market opens, we start going green. And in the end, you have a beautiful candle starting at low of day and it's on ascending support. I just have a feeling that this chart is going to look great and we're going to curl and go back up, and the miners are going to make new highs before the metals. So I think this washout is going to be very healthy for us, for the real mining investors long term. Nothing's changed. I saw it as a massive opportunity. Thursday, I nibbled. Obviously, I regret it. The price you could have gotten Friday. Friday is the first time that I did not nibble. I went in pretty damn hard across the board. I'm going to go through it on the portfolio. Okay, just to finish off real quick, we did a gap fill. We're so close to the setting support. I don't even think we test it on Monday. I think this is your buy. If we go lower, there are levels. There's the ascending. There's this one. I haven't even done this. This is from some old. These are old indicators I was putting in there, old notes. I don't think we even get there. GDXJ, same sort of thing. Here's your ascending, perfect. Here's your gap fill, perfect. If we keep dropping, there are levels. It's super bullish. There are hundreds of levels on the way down. I don't even think we get there. This I can close now. We've done all the gap fills. We did two in one go. This one and then this one on ascending support. The miners are super bullish reversal technicals, and the metals don't even matter because I don't even think we right. You guys don't really buy the metals that much. You're in the miners now. You know where the money is. You know where the leverage is. Same thing as SIL. Look at that gap fill here. It's true we didn't fill this gap, but who cares? We actually started to go into the gap though, but it doesn't matter. What is that? 1% doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. SILJ, they're all wonderful. Look, I was even checking. Can it keep doing it? Go on, do it. Do it on Monday. Just a little bam, done. And then off you go. Everyone starts to reverse. I honestly think in 1 month, even less, the miners are breaking out whilst the metals are not. Like whilst. So I reckon just take Silj as an example. We do our little GGG curl and whatever, maybe the little. We're going to be here, right? Testing 41 and all that, whilst gold, even though this is Silj, whilst gold is like here, about to start testing this important 5,400 zone, right? Or silver to take the equivalent. So we're making new highs while silver's like here, looking like it wants to test its high. I really reckon the miners are going to outperform. Right, let's look at the portfolio. Um, oh Jesus, not a normal day, is it? Newmont, has been outperforming, right? There you go, same thing. We did not fill the gap in all the miners, right? We filled some, we didn't fill all, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're on support just like GDX. Basically, this is copy paste of GDX, slight outperformance. What a buy. These guys were cheap over here. We all know this. They were cheap. They should have been double the price, right? And okay, even though we didn't go down as much as the miners, if they were cheap there, forget relativity and all this. If Newmont is cheap at 135, well, maybe it's cheap at 110. Of course it is. Because gold came down a couple of $100 and that's it, right? Like this belongs way higher, even if gold goes down maybe 1,000. So this is nothing but an opportunity for those who really know their stuff. And I like to think I know my stuff. And all I know is that the miners are cheap and I know the best miners. And I went in, by the way, Newmont, I went in pretty damn hard. I went in 1/6. I added 1/6, whatever that is. I can't think of my ratio, my percentages, but I just added 1/6 to it. Bam, one stock. And I did that across the board with the main six seniors. So Newmont, Barrick, Agnico, Wheaton, Franco, and Pan America. All of them, bam, 1/6 in, right? And I also entered maybe 1/12, like half of what I did in the seniors, into the silver stocks. And I didn't touch any mid tiers. I didn't add to any juniors. I thought add heavy with the best of the best, basically. Barrick. Thinking the technicals are a bit different. I don't care. Yeah, see there, the ascending is lost, but I don't care. I just went in. I judged this based on the GDX chart. I just went in it and I did market orders just across the board. And as soon as I bought, I had another set ready. Mid-price market orders and interactive brokers. And by the way, I sold. I have a bunch of blue chips that I owned. The point is I dumped them all. Market order, the whole thing I did like. So I had Paramount, PSKY. I had Target, TGT, UBS, and Pfizer, what I hate, but good dividend and real cheap, PFE. And I've held them for age, and they basically went nowhere. A few of them went up, a few of them went down a little bit. They still hadn't done their thing. They were long-term holds, and I'm sure I could have got 30% if I waited a couple of months. and they had a good dividend. And I just sold because I don't have that much sidelines. I've added to copper, oil, but I just thought I need to add on a day like today, but I don't want to use too much of what I've already got on the sidelines. So I thought, you know what? Let me just sell these, what I call blue chip bounce plays. You can see them here. Here's your Pfizer. I think the other ones I don't have yet. Whatever. I just within 10 seconds I sold all four full amount. They were worth quite a bit, and I just went all in on all of them. So the six main seniors and four silver stocks, which I'll get to. And as soon as I was done with that, I had a whole new row ready. Like I had a lot of fun. And that's why it's important to be able to add cash. Because if you have no cash and you're looking at a day like Friday, and all you can do is just wait and hope that it bounces, horrible feeling. Whilst if you've got cash, I remember at one point after I bought in and I wanted more, I wanted it to go down more. I wanted to lose money. I was like, please go down so I can add another amount. And it didn't. So I wasn't able to add that second amount, the second volley. Okay, so new, and I forgot where I entered, pretty much near low of day, right? Yeah, because I remember looking at my P&L, the miners, and it was down heavy, and I added basically by the close it had gone up, so I added higher than where they closed. No, lower than when it closed. Right, that's new one. Barrick, also 1/6 in. This one's lost its ascending, just based it on GDX. You don't need to look at this particular chart. This is just almost made 56 the all-time record high. Didn't got some support down there, but I don't even want to look at individual chart support. I think this is about the GDX. If you're looking at the big senior gold stocks, and obviously gold and silver, what they're gonna do, that will sort of be the tail that wags the dog. But closing low of day, but like the other miners. Agnico, look at this. Agnico down 11, almost 12%. How can you not buy that? This one, in this case, I say don't look at the individual stocks, but look at this complete support zone. This is it was late to the breakout party because it outperformed for ages. Here was a bit underperforming, and then here it started to break, outperform, and here we retested prior resistance, so it should be support. Obviously, it can go low, and if it does, it has lots of support like everything else. But this is a very good buy, not just for GDX and generally, miners being super cheap relative to the metals. And this one is I remember Adrian Day and even Rick Rule and I think Peter Schiff, everyone's kind of mentioned that Agnico is one of those miners that is cheaper now than it was months ago when gold was a lot less. So it just got even cheaper on Friday. Massive buy, and individually it's got good support here. So big buy. That one also I was looking forward to. Let's keep going. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe on Monday we have another big red day. Buy some more around 170, just above. No problem doing that. Um, no, I'll do Pan American differently. I'll do that with the silver stocks. Wheaton. Another one down to 13.5%. You just buy it, whatever. Here's your support. It could go a little lower, and then you're back at sort of this was resistance kind of breakout. You can see a bit of support there, 125-ish. Well, we're at 130. It's the same thing. Huge buy. Thank you for the washout. This is what you buy. You don't buy the metal, you buy this. The metal does not have to go up for this to go up. And that's what no one really, you know, appreciates enough. We know it, but we represent like 0.0001% of the investing society. This was an easy buy. Franco Nevada. I didn't even look at all the charts. I just buy. So this one, a bit like a Nico actually. It's got its similar sort of chart setup. It can go a little lower. I already bought. I'm not waiting for my technical chart to be fully satisfied. But if we go lower on Monday, I doubt it. But if we do, more buying. So you could say 225, 220, or even lower, 215. Little $5 increments there. Buy, buy, buy. Ah, it was so fun Friday buying. Right. I will go through the silver stocks now. The ones that I want to keep covering the ones that I bought. Then I'll go to the gold mid tiers. So excuse this change of regular chronology. Pan American Silver, probably my favorite one. I think just it tracks silver. It moves up like silver. If you have First Majestic up 8%, you'll probably have Pan America up 8 or 7%. even though it's a beast gold miner. For me, one of my favorites. And when it's down, look at that, almost 14%. You just buy, which is what I did. This one, the breakout, I can't believe we were almost in the low 50s at one point. So I don't think we ever get to mid 40s. Okay, I don't think it doesn't belong there ever again. But another day like Friday and Thursday, you're there. And already going to 60. I mean, we never even went above 60 on Friday. It was just we opened below on the 59s and we kept going. Incredibly cheap, I reckon. There's no real support. Um, it's you got to look at silver SIL maybe, but if I'm really looking at this individual, I don't know, I'm looking for support zones just above around okay, 50. Yeah, okay. I just realized that's 50. Now, Friday's low of day counts all of a sudden because that is a daily low of day. So if we lose that, maybe we go to 50. If we lose 53.5, do we go to 50? Maybe we stop off here at 51.5. I don't know. There's no point looking at too much because it's obviously dependent on silver, SIL, and general momentum elsewhere. Maybe the dollar, maybe yields, maybe the general market's going down. Look what's happened over the weekend here with Bitcoin. Is that sort of an indication of Monday continued sell-off? Not for me. Bitcoin's crypto market's a bit special. I don't think it even follows the general markets that much the way it used to, and it's not an indication of commodities. It's not a commodity. And in fact, if anything, people selling crypto might help gold. Anyway, Pan America, just buy it. End of story. Down almost 14%. Here's some levels. Otherwise, huge buy around 44. And to be honest, don't be too greedy. We're not going to get there, but if we do, buy above 44. And to make sure I do that, I'll just do this here. Otherwise buy here. I don't think we get that opportunity though. All right, let's keep going with the silver stocks. First, Majestic. Boom. Yeah, a bit like the general mining ETFs, you're almost at, well, a lot of them already are, and they've touched their ascending support. This one can go a little lower. What a buy here, just around 19, right? Prior resistance, ascending. Was there resistance here? Yes, there was. It's good that I kept my old notes in. 19, huge buy. I do not see us going lower. If we do 16, massive buy. I don't see that happening. I'll be all in around there. I can tell you that. Next one, CDE. Oh, whoops, CDE. Very nice. This one was a bit late to the breakout. It had a bit of resistance. It was stubborn here, so that's why we've already maybe hit ascending. Let's clean this up. This one can stay. This was a very important resistance, and it's relevant now. This one won't be relevant if we get there. Okay, let's just leave it. This I'll leave because it's the high of day, low of day in the middle, 23 on the way up. This will move it up. There's your resistance. Support is where we are. And that's it. If it keeps going down, let's see. 16 maybe ascending. I don't see that happening. If we go up, small resistance here. Otherwise, bigger resistance there. And then the all-time, well, the record 52-week high. That's what I'm looking at for CDE. I bought. Yeah, so by the way, for the smaller silver stocks, Pan America, obviously I bought. First Majestic I bought. CDE I bought. EXK I bought. Heckler I bought. Heckler, I'd already been buying the day before. Because it got smashed from earnings. Heckler was a bit special. I'd sold more of Heckler because I was nibbling out at the top and I was regretting it. But I'll tell you what, when I saw the Friday and Thursday, I was pretty happy for every single trim that I did. But Friday was a heavy buy. Thursday I hardly nibbled on anything except Heckler, but Friday was a heavy buy on all the names. So let's look at Heckler then. So Thursday. Yes, Thursday I was buying because I wanted 26s. I didn't get it the 1 or 2 days after earnings, but then here I got it. I was nibbling. But yeah, Friday was a buy day. Right on that gap fill and on ascending. I took a look at that, and these lines I've had in place for a while anyway. So we have not only a gap fill, we have ascending, and it's been smashed already, and it's one of the best in the Americas, right? North America as a heckler. It's a big name, cult name. This goes up when silver goes up. It will, every day that silver was up, heckler, you could count on that being up 6%. It was always one of the best performing assets, silver mines. So it did close at low of day, like the rest, but I do not see this going lower, even if silver's red. If we get the opportunity, if silver and the miners are red on Monday, again, that's sort of suggesting that the Chinese don't buy. I doubt it, but if we do, they all have their next levels. And Heckler for me is around 19, just below what a buy that is. I mean, you have to go back to the weekly almost. What's 19? Oh, it was a high from over there. Well, whatever. I don't see us going below 20. But yeah, bought decent amount of Heckler also, despite having bought it a little bit the day before on Thursday. So wonderful. Ascending and gap fill. Finally, EXK. I mean, they all have the same charts, closing low of day, shooting star. This one, so we only recently took out 13 and ran, and then from 15 all the way to, you know, in the tens. This is also support zone 1060-ish. Yeah, and also there's a bit of resistance here. You could see this sort of resistance here. So, and we've tested it once. So 10.5 is a level. 10 maybe not so much, but 10.5 more than 10. I'll just leave it there, sort of 10.3-ish. We were there, right? Um, so that's generally in the level of support. You see, we go a bit more, then you've got ascending support. I do not see us going down in the nines or anything. I just don't see it happening. But if it does, I'll be buying without looking at the chart. If I see EXK, 9.2 buy, just buy another 20% in, something like that. Just boom, in. I don't think silver, the dynamics of silver have not changed. Supply, demand, the reasons for central banks buying gold have not changed. They will continue to buy. Institutions will buy. Tether will buy. Retail will start to buy more. New central banks will come in and buy. Inflation will continue. This suggestion that what started it all off, or the new Fed is slightly hawkish. All of them have been hawks at one point, and as soon as they're acting chairman, they're all doves. Trump, the criteria is very, very obvious. Cut rates by 1, 2, 3 points, like three entire percentage points. Anyway, if you don't do it, the whole thing crashes. You can only work by inflating away the debt. So we know, Doge is not the Doge that we feared. We know what we can expect from the Trump presidency in 2026, and the reasons for this going up will continue. Gold, silver will continue to go up. Supply problem with silver will continue. This is just an opportunity. And people who got smashed, everyone got smashed, but the only ones who would really hate it are the ones who are all in. I always keep cash on the sidelines. I have to admit, I don't have as much because I'm in other areas, and they got smashed too, right? Uranium, copper, oil. I got smashed big time. I had to cover the P&L, like hide from it, not watch it, and I was just trading based on the chart and logic, and I think I did a good job of adding to the right stocks. And I focused just on gold and silver. I was not adding to critical minerals or uranium or copper. I was like, look, we're all getting smashed, but this is the area that I am most confident in long term, even though it's already gone up more than the others. And these are the best stocks. I haven't even covered the others, have I? I did not go into I am gold. All right, even though it's also smashed 13% gap fill, and I wanted the best of the best, right? This one, look at that, another one, gap fill ascending support, very nice. But you've gone up from basically, I was in at 3 to almost 30. Like you've done 10x, and anyway, even though you're really good, no, like I want to go into the senior ones because they should be the ones that go down the least if we continue to drop. It's like a conservative, defensive way of doing it. And if we continue to drop, and I imagine I'm all in, and we continue to drop, all right, and I'll sell some Newmont, and I'll go into, a more risky one. I am gold, which will go up more. Like there are still ways of sort of hedging around and making sure you get more aggressive upside the day you do finally turn. But I'm not there yet. I'm nowhere near being using up all my ammunition. But still, I focus on the seniors and the best silver stocks because silver got completely creamed. You have to add the silver stocks on a minus 30% day. I am gold though, otherwise, nice chart, didn't add to it. Pretty much like the others. Equinox, I did add to it because I was listening to an Adrian Day interview whilst the turmoil was going on. And he was talking about this one. What is it, Ross BT's? He was saying this is really going to be a beast. And I thought, okay, I'll add a little bit to Equinox, but nowhere near as much as I added to the others. This one on ascending, there was no gap to fill, but I thought this one wasn't down as much as the others, even though it's down 10.5%. But yeah, fair enough. Equinox, Aris Mining, there's no ascending chart. Um, but apparently we're on a level. Jesus. From before. Yeah, you can see that. That's why I considered that level 17 also a nice number. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the chart's on a particular level. Like it's got to be GDX, gold and silver. Keep it simple. Don't look at the individual charts. Like if gold just decides to drop another $100 or GDX wants to go down another 3-4%, it doesn't matter if your chart's on its own little support zone. Down we go. And here we closed at low of day. But again, I don't pay too much attention to that. All the miners closed near low of day. B2 Gold, which had been doing so well, outperforming. I thought I had a 589 sell. Maybe it got hit just before we went down. Didn't even know. This is irrelevant. Well, this should be slight support, right? 479, the special 479 zone that I was trimming. Well, that becomes your support since it's been such obvious resistance. But otherwise, if we keep going down and this zone, yeah, this, there we are. You've got that, and then you've got that. B2 Gold, I have to admit, is one of the better ones for the bounce because it's been acting quite strong. Those are levels I'm looking at. Here's your high, here's your support where we are, here's your next support, and then just below that, the ascending. That's B2, didn't add to that. Harmony, didn't add to that, didn't sell, didn't add. This has got its own little, yeah, they've all got it. They've all pretty much got their own ascending support. This can go the high of day of Friday, the low of day of Thursday. You could say there's a bit of a zone there, but I wouldn't be playing it anyway. It's just a FYI sort of zone. This maybe if we keep going, oh yeah, you could keep going down another level. I doubt it's going to happen, but you might as well have it in place just in case, and that's what I've got. Aris Mining, didn't even look at this one. Do we have something there? No, it's lost it, so it's not part of it. Close at low of day. Oh no, we looked at Aris Mining already. Okay, SBS double. This one, oh my God, it looks so obvious now, doesn't it? Went all the way up, all the way to 20, 2050 and back down. Now, obviously, it went down because of what happened everywhere else. But you could say, hey, the chart was telling you that was a high. Now, I did sell a few times there. I sold once just under 20, twice at 2050. But still, I was looking at it and thinking, ah, you idiot, you should have just trimmed like a third of the position or maybe half. Like, I don't really need to be in SBSW for the breach from 21 to 30 just because platinum and palladium should go up with the metals. I was thinking that I may just, if it goes back up, unless it really looks like it wants to break out and run, I may just close half the position in the sort of 20 zone. Anyway, support. Yeah, light support here, I suppose. If we keep going down, little levels. Yeah, I'll leave it as it is. Just leave it as it is. Okay, so look, I'm not going to do all the juniors. The juniors will make even less sense. Their chart is not going to be as strict as the seniors, for example. And even the seniors, it doesn't matter because what you should be paying attention to is gold, silver, and your mining ETFs, right? GDX, SILJ. They count. They will respect the technicals more than the individual charts. I think the miners are a massive buy. I think they were before the drop. I think they are even more now. I think the drop is not because of some fundamental macro, even geopolitical reason. I think the reasons for the metals going up stays the same. They were the same on Thursday, Friday. They will be on Monday. In fact, they only get better. I think this was just some paper supply demand manipulation. I do actually think that. I if it was because of the Fed being a whole good because that's wrong. Is it some Iranian inside news? It's not going to be a war. Whatever, that's an advantage that you can take because war is never a reason that miners or metals change direction. It's always monetary or macroeconomics. So another reason to take advantage. I think it's an advantage to take. Finally, I'll end with this. Let's just do silver, but I'm sure it's the same with gold versus no, let's do SILJ versus silver. That's the one I've been using. Look at that day. Boom. You know, so we're at the absolute lows, and I don't know what I didn't know what catalyst it would have been, but I thought we weren't going to go much lower. It's just, to be honest, we opened at the absolute low, but this is a reversal. It should be going up, right? As the price goes up. For some reason, we've been going down. Everyone's been trading the metal, especially silver, rather than the miners. The miners will have their day. That's how you know we're not at the end stage of the bull run. The miners should completely, easily, obviously, and for a long time outperform the metals. And hopefully, this is what we could do here. The one advantage to this crash is that maybe the miners start to outperform and continue to outperform, which is why I think they're going to break out before the metals do. And maybe that trend can last for a long time. Maybe we can see gold to 8, 10,000 whilst the miners continue to outperform. Maybe this was the day, Friday, where the miners stop underperforming. And I actually think it's going to happen. I think we'll just go sideways and up, and the miners will make new highs before the metals, and then the metals will make new highs, and by then the miners will have been up like a lot. And maybe that's when general investors will pay attention and say, okay, no, this is a long-term thing. Let's add to the miners. And which miners will they go into? The Newmonts, the Agnicos, the Wheaton, the seniors that they still don't have crazy exposure to. And later will be the mid-tiers, the I am golds and all that. And then it's going to be the juniors. So I think this bull market is nowhere near finished. And that's why yesterday, Friday was a day you should take advantage if you had cash on the sidelines. All right, I don't want to be too repetitive. That's it. It was completely crazy. Let's see what happens on Monday. Obviously, I think the Chinese will buy, but it's about how the miners react and where the price of the metals are by the time we open. But I thought the best thing to do is just add without asking too many questions to the best of breed. It's also sort of the conservative, correct thing to do if we continue to go down. They should go down less than the more risky ones. But when they're down 11, 12, 13%, Jesus, if we bounce on Monday, they could be up also 10%. Okay, let's see what happens. Good luck and let me know what you think.